Hello, welcome to e-learning. I am Navdeep, working as PGTIP in Cambridge International School, this world. Students, I welcome you all into the fresh edition of e-learning. So today we will focus on few more functions available in MySQL. So starting with the today's topic, we have already started with topic that is mathematical and text functions in SQL. Students, last we have applied few functions and today we'll look at few more. So before we go into the new functions, let us revise the function that we have already gone through. The very first function we did last time was a mathematical functions. Under that first function we revise as a mode function. So you know that mode basically takes two parameters. One is the number to be divided and y is the parameter, that is the number to be divided by which number, and the mode functions give us the remainder. Now see how this is to be implemented. So let's move to the MySQL interface. So in the MySQL interface, you know all the steps. Now we have become familiar with the cd XAMPP, and here cd MySQL, cd bin MySQL, that is to supply the username. Our username is root. Press enter. So it is saying that can't connect to the MySQL server. So students, now you might have become familiar that which mistake we have made here. Before going into the connectivity of MySQL, we have to start the Apache server and start the MySQL application from XAMPP. So with practice we learn the area where we make mistakes, and in the XAMPP control panel you will see soon it will open. So this is, we have to start the Apache server as well as we have to start the MySQL. So this is the XAMPP control panel. Just minimize this one now. Just click on the start button. Yes. So minimize this one. Again repeat this with the arrow keys. And you see now the connectivity is done with the MySQL. So this is the first step. Then you can apply the show databases command, and here you can see that these are the databases. So we will move to our database, let's say to the school database, use school, and you will get here the database changed to school. Now the school database is appearing here. Now students, the very first function is we have to work on select mode, and we have already worked on this, that the first number will be divided by the second one and we'll get the remainder. So remainder here is 1. We can take one more example here. Select mode, and let's say first number is 21, the second number is 3. So what remainder? 0 remainder is there. Clear? So this is very simple mathematical functions where we can easily get the remainder here. Now students, moving back to the presentation. So the next function we are going to focus is the power function. So you know that what was there in power function, it returns the value of a number raised to power to another number. Clear? The first parameter raised to power the second parameter. Clear? So we have already practiced this number where x will be known as the base number and y will be known as the exponent. So again, we'll try to have the example of this one also. So moving to the MySQL and start using the power function. Power, and let's say 2 raised to power 4. So 2 raised to power 4, that is 16. Similarly, we can work out with one more example here is, let's say select power 10 raised to power 2, that is 10 into 10, and you most of you the output. So this is how the power function works. So this is the second mathematical functions. Clear? That is the power functions. Now we move to the third mathematical function. So you see here what was the third, that is the round function. So this is the round function, another very prominent function in mathematics. Clear? We apply this for rounding off. So this function rounds a number to a specified number of decimal places. So it takes two parameters. First is the number, and second is how many decimal digits we want in the results, where first parameter is a must and second parameter is the optional one. So without taking much time, let's have a example of this one also. We have already worked on this in the earlier one also, just for revision point of view. 1 3 5 dot 875 to 2 decimal places. So now you are already familiar. This becomes 3.88, and if let's say I have missed the second parameter, so what would have been the result? So this means round to 0. So this will give you the integer value, but the rounding will also take place. So this becomes 136 because after decimal place we have value 8, which is 5 or more than 5. So that's why the rounding has taken place. Another very similar to this one is, students, we have the truncate function also. So let's say if we replace the round with truncate, and what sort of result we get here? You see it just truncates up to the decimal places without making any rounding off here. One more example we can take here. So if we don't mention the decimal part, what it will do, it will just truncate without rounding off. So you have an error in SQL because what sort of this error is? We can see. So see, students, we have to give the second value here. That's why, because here we have not mentioned the second value, that's why we have got the error here. So if you enter here 0, so it means no decimal places, so you will not get the rounded value here as it was the case in the round case. Clear? And this is how the truncate basically differs from the round function. So this truncate function we did just for the another clarity point of view, one more mathematical functions. Now we move to the text functions that we have started yesterday. So the very first text function is there is the upper text. Clear? So it will convert, takes the parameter text and converts it to upper cases. So let's have a try. So let us say select, and upper is the function, and let's take the parameter. Let's say COVID-19 is spreading at a rapid rate. So you see whole of this text has been converted into the uppercase. And another the similar to this one is we have U case and upper both are same. Yeah, so and if you run this one you can see the output U case and this uppercase and U case both are the same sort of function here. Now similarly opposite to one this is the lowercase. Select if you want to convert something into the lowercase. So let's say I enter something into the uppercase. Let's say I enter my name, and here you see it has been converted into the lowercase and this L case both are same. Their functionality is same. So just press enter here and you see it has been converted into the lowercase. Now students, now moving to the we have already covered about the lowercase, and the next function is basically the substring. So we have already done this function is this it is having three names: mid function, substring, and this function is equal to substring. What is this function is basically it takes the string, we have to mention the starting value as well as we have to mention the length. That part of the string is basically extracted out. So how this is done, we can just have a try in MySQL. Select, so let's say substring, and the string I enter here is, let us say, Navdeep Kumar itself, and I mention the starting value is as 9, and I extract 5 characters, and you can predict the output here from now, and you see here Kumar as the output because Navdeep 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7 and 1 space 8. From 9 it starts, means it starts from K and goes up to 5. So K is 1 2 3 4 and 5. So yesterday we have discussed that in Python we mostly starts the string from 0, but here in MySQL we starts with 1. So this is the only point that we need to remember here. Rest is, the substring is same. You can use here the mid function also. Both are same, and the third one with the similar is the substring. With full name. Clear? So this is how the substring works. So this we have done already yesterday. So now we'll pick up few more functions today. The very first function we focus is the left function, and similar to this is the right function. What are the parameters in the left? String and number of characters from the left hand side. So you see here what will happen here. Start working on this left functions. Select left, first parameter is the string. So let's say I take the string as Navdeep Kumar, and the number of characters from the left sides. So let's take the 7 characters. And you see here, press enter, and you see from left side 7 character, it goes up to Navdeep whole. And very similar to this one is, students, we have the right it takes the characters from the right side. Now I pick up the just 5 just to pick up Kumar. And students, the very and the most important thing is practice this one. If you are just looking at the function and looking at the video, that will not solve the problem. So here you see in the first example we have used the left function. It takes up the strings from the left hand side, and this 7 is the number of characters from the left hand side of the string. First parameter is string and second is the number of characters. And similarly 5, now we have used the right function. So in the Navdeep Kumar string, clear, we have to just pick up the 5 characters from the right side toward. That is what is done by the right function. So again you can go through and revise this from this slide also. The left function extracts a number of characters from a string towards from the left hand side. So left and right are just opposite to each other. Very simple function, and we have already seen its demonstration. Now moving to the next function is write. Already we are done with. So it takes the value starting from the right side. Clear? How many characters? But now from the right side the counting starts. Now moving to one more function is the INSTR. Students, we need to look at what is this INSTR is. INSTR function returns the position of the first occurrence of a string in another function. So basically the use of this function is for searching purpose. Another important thing about this INSTR function is that this performs a case insensitive search. So it doesn't considers the case of the text. What is the syntax of the string is? You can see here string 1 and string 2. So string 1 is basically the string that is required the strings to be searched, the string that will be searched, and string 2 required. So here the strings to search for in string 1. तो जो स्ट्रिंग नंबर 2 की सर्चिंग होगी इन स्ट्रिंग नंबर 1 वो होगा स्ट्रिंग 2 में. सो बेसिकली स्ट्रिंग 2 इज द स्ट्रिंग जिसकी एक्चुअल सर्चिंग होनी है. सो इफ द स्ट्रिंग 2 इज नॉट फाउंड दिस फंक्शन रिटर्न्स 0. So let's have a try and try to do with this. So we start with the in string, select Navdeep Kumar, and let's say we want to search KU. So operand should not contain. Oh, we have missed the functions. A gross mistake we have made here in string. And you see here its position, KU position is shown here. 9th position it is, starting from 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and KU stands. And you see I have mentioned here in small case and it has compared with the uppercase. So that is why this is case insensitive. Case insensitive means that it is not considering the case, maybe lower upper both are same. And you see one more example of this one is like, let's say I start something which is not here, and let's say that is ha, and ha is not present here. So that's why we have already seen in the PPT that in that case it returns 0 here. 0 means it has been unable to found the results. So in that case it returns 0. We can see here. So it is written here, if the string 2 is not found, in that case this function returns 0. So 0 shows that it has not been able to search the required string in the string to be searched. Clear? So students, next we can try one more string function, is the trim function. Now what does this trim function does? As the name suggests, it basically removes the leading and the trailing spaces. So let's say I have written here Navdeep Kumar and I have spaces both towards its left and right, and you see here in the output you will not find the spaces here. The spaces from this and this side have been trimmed in the string. So this is the trim function. It trims the leading and the trailing spaces. Clear? The another very good application to this is, like, if let's say I have tried the same function with, let's say, left trim. So this just removes the strings from the left hand side. Just press enter and you see the spaces are gone from the left sides. Right side we are seeing here spaces. This is because the length of this string is this much, that's why we are having the things like this. Otherwise the spaces are removed from the left hand side. Similarly, the spaces, if we want to remove from the right hand side, the function here is called the rtrim, that is the remove the spaces from the trailing side of the string. So you just press enter here, and you know the left hand side spaces are now here, but the right hand side spaces have been removed. So like this, we can take one more example here for a better clarity. Select trim, and let's say I have a string like let us say India is a vast country, and we have spaces on this side also, and you see the output here, India is a vast country. So left hand side spaces are gone. If you want to remove the right hand side spaces, just use the rtrim, so now the left hand spaces now will stay here, and right side spaces are now gone. And similarly, if you want to have a look at the, you want to remove the left hand, basically we can clearly see. Clear? Now see the spaces from the left hand side, they are gone. So these are the few of the example. The same character functions we can apply on the table also. And how to apply these on tables? Now let's see how to apply these functions on tables. So I will first try that. We will see what are the tables that are available to us. So we have customer, guardian and student table with us. So let us use with the select star from, we want to use the student table and see what are the attributes here in the student table: roll number, first name, last name and score. So let's say I want to convert the first name to the uppercase. So how this is done? Select uppercase to first name, but I don't want to keep the last name as capital one, from student table. And you see now the Chetandeep has been converted into the capital one, but not the last name. If you want to keep both the ones as the uppercase, so we can apply on the both the ones also. And this one, and you see both now first name and last name both are converted into the uppercase. And similarly we can work with the lowercase also. Very simple these functions are. And my request to all the students is that just practice this one. otherwise this looks very easy, but if you will not practice. Now see the Chetandeep and Rushi, they are just for this purpose. The table is as it is. The table, if you look at the table, if you apply the query later on, these are not permanent changes. Select star from student. You see the table is as it is. We have not made changes into the table. We have just made changes into the view only. So we have to keep on understanding all these things. Clear? So this is how we are going to apply these basic functions. Just have a look at the table. Now students, we want to apply the, let's say, INSTR function. Select INSTR and we apply it on the first name. First name is the attribute, and we want to search, let's say, the string deep from which table? Student table. And you see when it is searching, now first name is basically a column. Now it is comparing all the columns here, and it is comparing in all the columns deep. First in Chetandeep, it searched deep and it is returning the location. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and from 7th onward it has been able to search this string. And in the second string Rushi, it has not been able to find deep, so that's why it is giving 0. We have already seen in the earlier example also that when we are not able to search anything, so this gives us the result in the form of 0 when the search is not successful. Clear? So this is how we have now applied the INSTR function on the table's attributes, that is on the first name. Now again have a look at the table, and now students, let's say we start with the substring on the first name itself. Select substring, and this time I again apply on the first name attribute, and I want to start from the first position, and the length I want to mention here 5. So what this will do, it will do that first of all this will be applicable on first name, that is the string. First name is Chetandeep and Arushi, and in Chetandeep it will start working from first, that is stands from C up to 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Up to this one will be the part of the substring output, and in case of Rushi 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So starting from first location up to 5, this substring will be displayed over there. Now you can see the first 5 characters of Chetan and first 5 characters of Arushi here. That is the part of how we can apply this on the attributes of a table. So students, these sort of operations we can apply on the bigger tables also, and we have seen that how to apply these functions on the tables, and this will be applicable to the whole of the table. So this is how we can use the mathematical as well as the character functions. So next we will have a look on the date functions. So in our next lecture we will focus on the date functions. So I think that for the day, my humble request to all the students is just students practice all these functions. Here they look very easy, but if you will not practice all these ones, so things will become a bit difficult for you. So moving back to this, this is what is there in our syllabus. So we have already focused, first is our mathematical functions, and then we have covered overall the text functions, and we have seen their applicability, and last we will move to the next we will move to the date functions. So one by one we will try the date functions in our coming lecture. So hope you enjoyed the today's sessions. So in the end, I thank you all for attending the sessions. So still, students, if you feel any doubt, so you can contact me. So at the end again, I thank you all for attending the session. Thank you very much.